Alchemy in the Middle Ages was a mixture of science, philosophy, and mysticism, far from operating within the modern definition of a scientific discipline. Medieval alchemists approached their craft with a holistic attitude. They believed that purity of mind, body, and spirit was necessary to pursue the alchemical quest successfully.
At the heart of medieval alchemy was the idea that all matter was composed of four elements: earth, air, fire, and water.
With the right combination of elements, it was theorized, any substance on earth might be formed. This includes precious metals as well as elixir to cure disease and prolong life. Alchemists believed that the transmutation of one substance into another was possible. Thus, we have the cliché of medieval alchemists seeking to turn lead into gold.
And so the goals of medieval alchemists were to discover the relationship of man to the cosmos and take advantage of that relationship to the betterment of mankind, to find the philosopher's stone, an elusive substance that was believed to make possible the creation of an elixir of immortality and the transmutation of common substances into gold. In later Middle Ages, to use alchemy as a tool in the advancement of medicine, as Paracelsus did.
The introduction of alchemy to later Europe may be dated to 11 February 1144, with the completion of Robert of Chester's translation of the Arabic book of the Composition of Alchemy. Roger Bacon, a Franciscan monk, wrote on a wide variety of topics including optics, comparative linguistics, and medicine. Composed his great work for Pope Clement IV as a part of the project towards rebuilding the medieval university curriculum to include the new learning of his time. While alchemy was not more important to him than any other sciences, and he did not produce allegorical works on the topic, he did consider it and astrology to be important parts of both natural psychology and theology, and his contribution advanced alchemy's connection to soteriology and Christian theology. Bacon's writing integrated morality, salvation, alchemy, and the prolongation of life.
Soon after Bacon, the influential work of Pseudo-Geber appeared. His Summa Perfectionis remained the staple summary of alchemical practice and theory through the medieval and Renaissance periods. It was notable for its inclusion of practical chemical operations, alongside sulfur-mercury theory, and the unusual clarity with which they were described. By the end of the 13th century, alchemy had developed into a fairly structured system of belief. Adepts believed in the macrocosmos-microcosmos theories of Hermes, that is to say, they believed that processes that affect minerals and other substances could have an effect on the human body. For example, if one could learn the secret of purifying gold, one could use the technique to purify the human soul. They believed in the four elements and the four qualities as described above, and they had a strong tradition of cloaking their written ideas in a labyrinth of coded jargon set with traps to mislead the uninitiated. Finally, the alchemists practiced their art. They actively experimented with chemicals and made observations and theories about how the universe operated. Their entire philosophy revolved around their belief that man's soul was divided within himself after the fall of Adam. By purifying the two parts of the man's soul, man could be reunited with God.
In the 14th century, Dante, Piers Plowman, and Chaucer all painted unflattering pictures of alchemists as thieves and liars. Nicolas Flamel is a well-known alchemist, and his entire interest in the subject revolves around the pursuit of the philosopher's stone. His work spends a great deal of time describing the processes and reactions, but never actually gives the formula for carrying out the transmutation. During the Renaissance, Hermetic and Platonic foundations were restored to European alchemy. The dawn of medical, pharmaceutical, occult, and interpretorial branches of alchemy followed. Philippus Averroes Paracelsus cast alchemy into a new form, rejecting some of Agrippa's occultism and moving away from Phytocepha. Paracelsus pioneered the use of chemicals and minerals in medicine, and what? Many have said of alchemy that it is for the making of gold and silver. For me, such is not the aim, but to consider only what virtue and power may lie in medicine.
His hermetical views were that sickness and health in the body relied on the harmony of man, the microcosmos, and nature, the macrocosmos. He took an approach different from those before him, using this analogy not in the manner of soul purification, but in the manner that humans must have certain balances of minerals in their bodies, and that certain illnesses of the body had chemical remedies that could cure them. Paracelsian and practical alchemy, especially herbal medicine and plant remedies, has since been named spagyrics.
Isaac Newton devoted considerably more of his writing to the study of alchemy than he did to either optics or physics. John Maynard Keynes, who acquired many of Newton's writings on alchemy, stated that Newton was not the first of the age of reason, he was the last of the magicians. Newton's fundamental contributions to science include the quantification of gravitational attraction, the discovery that while light is actually a mixture of immutable spectral colors, and the formulation of the calculus. Yet, there is another, more mysterious side to Newton that is imperfectly known, a realm of activity that spanned some 30 years of his life, although he kept it largely hidden from his contemporaries and colleagues. We refer to Newton's involvement in the discipline of alchemy, or as it was often called in the 17th century England, chemistry. Newton wrote and transcribed about 1 million words on the subject of alchemy.
Newton's writings suggest that one of the main goals of his alchemy may have been the discovery of the philosopher's stone, a material believed to turn base metals into gold, and perhaps to a lesser extent the discovery of highly coveted elixir of life. Newton reportedly believed that the Diana's tree, an alchemic demonstration producing a dendritic growth of silver from solution, was evidence that metals possessed a sort of life. Much of Newton's writing on alchemy may have been lost in a fire in his laboratory, so the true extent of his work in this area may have been larger than is currently known.
In 1737, in Dictionnaire Mytho-Hermetique, Antoine Joseph Pernetti, a famous alchemist, identified the tree of life with the elixir of life and the philosopher's stone. A tree of life is a common motif in various world theologies, mythologies, and philosophy. It alludes to the interconnection of all life on our planet and serves as a metaphor for common destiny in an evolutionary sense. The philosopher's stone, or the stone of the philosophers, is a legendary alchemical substance capable of turning base metals such as mercury into gold and silver. It is also able to extend one's life and called the elixir of life, useful for rejuvenation and for achieving immortality. For many centuries, it was the most sought-after goal in alchemy. The philosopher's stone was the central symbol of the mystical terminology of alchemy, symbolizing perfection at its finest, enlightenment, and heavenly bliss. Efforts to discover the philosopher's stone were known as the magnum opus, great work.
The 16th century Swiss alchemist Paracelsus believed in the existence of alchemy, which he thought to be an undiscovered element from which all other elements, earth, fire, water, air, were simply derivative forms. Paracelsus believed that this element was, in fact, the philosopher's stone. According to alchemical texts, the stone of the philosophers came in two varieties, prepared by an almost identical method: white, for the purpose of making silver, and red, for the purpose of making gold, the white stone being a less matured version of the red stone.
Alchemical authors sometimes suggest that the stone descriptions are metaphorical. It's called a stone, not because it is like a stone. The appearance is expressed geometrically in Michael's Meyer Atalanta Fugieni. Make of a man and woman a circle, then a quadrangle, out of this a triangle. Make again a circle, and you have the stone of the wife. If thus is made the stone, which thou canst not discover, unless you, through diligence, learn to understand these geometrical features. Other mentioned properties include creation of perpetually burning lamps, transmutation of common crystals into precious stones and diamonds, reviving of that plant, creation of flexible or malleable glass, or the creation of a clone or homunculus.
The great work or magnum opus is an alchemical term for the process of working with the prima materia to create the philosopher's stone. It has been used to describe personal and spiritual transmutation in the Hermetic tradition, attached to laboratory processes and chemical color changes, used as a model for the individual process and as a device in art and literature. The magnum opus has been carried forward in a new age and new Hermetic movements, which sometimes attach to new symbolism and significance to the processes. It originally had 4 stages: nigredo, a blackening or melanosis; albedo, a whitening or leucosis; citrinitas, a yellowing or xanthosis; and rubedo, a reddening, purpling or eosis.
Various alchemical documents were directly or indirectly used to justify these stages. The Tabula Smaragdina is the oldest document said to provide a recite. Others include the Mutus Liber, the 12 Cases of Basil Valentine, the Amulet of Stefan Mitchell Spesser, and the 12 Gates of George Ripoll. Ripoll's steps are given as calcination, solution, separation, conjunction, putrefaction, congelation, cibation, sublimation, fermentation, exaltation, multiplication, and projection.
In another example from the 16th century, Samuel Norton gives the following 14 stages: purgation, sublimination, calcination, exuberation, fixation, solution, separation, conjunction, putrefaction in sulfur, solution of bodily sulfur, solution of sulfur of white light, fermentation in elixir, multiplication in virtue, and multiplication in quantity.
In alchemy, prima materia, materia prima or first matter, is the ubiquitous starting material required for the alchemical magnum opus in the creation of the philosopher's stone. It is the primitive formless base of all matter, similar to chalice, the quintessence or aether. Esoteric alchemists describe the prima materia using simile and compare it to concepts like anima mundi. The concept of prima materia is sometimes attributed to Aristotle. The earliest roots of the idea can be found in the psychology of Anaxagoras, who described the known in relation to chalice. Alchemical authors use similes to describe the universal nature of prima materia. Arthur Edward Waite states that all alchemical writers conceal its true nature. Since the prima materia has all the qualities and properties of elementary things, the names of all kinds of things are assigned to it. A similar account can be found in the Theatrum Chemicum.
They have compared the prima materia to everything, to male and female, to the hermaphroditic monster, to heaven and earth, to body and spirit, chaos, microcosmos, and the confused mass. It contains in itself all colors and potentially all metals. There is nothing more wonderful in the world, for it begets itself, conceives itself, and gives birth to itself. The elixir of life, also known as the elixir of immortality, and sometimes equated with the philosopher's stone, is a mythical potion that, when drank from a certain cup at a certain time, supposedly grants the drinker eternal life and/or eternal youth. This elixir was also said to be able to create life.
Count of Saint-Germain, an 18th century nobleman of an uncertain origin and mysterious capabilities, was also reputed to have the elixir and to be several hundred years old. Many European recipes specify that elixirs to be stored into flax to amplify the effects of immortality on the user. Frenchman Nicolas Flamel was also a reputed creator of the elixir.
A homunculus is a representation of a small human being, popularized in the 16th century alchemy and 19th century fiction. It has historically referred to the creation of a miniature, fully formed human.
In Liber de Imaginibus, Paracelsus, however, denies that roots shaped like men grow naturally. He attacks dishonest people who carve roots to look like men and sell them as around. He clarifies that the homunculus origins are in sperm, and that it is falsely confused with these ideas from necromancy and natural philosophy. De Natura Rerum, 1537, outlines his methods for creating homunculi. That the sperm of a man be purified by itself in a silk cucurbit for 40 days. with the highest degree of putrefaction in a horse womb, or at least so long that it comes to life and moves itself, and stirs, which is easily observed. After this time, it will look somewhat like a man, but transformed, without a body, if, after this, it be fed wisely with the condom of human blood, and be nourished for up to 40 weeks, and be kept in the even heat of the horse womb. The living human child grows stelliform, with all its members like another child, which is born of a woman, but much smaller.
The homunculus continued to appear in alchemical writings after Paracelsus' time. The chemical wedding of Christian Rosenkreuz, 1616, for example, concludes with the creation of a male and a female form identified as homunculi duo. The allegorical text suggests to the reader that the ultimate goal of alchemy is not chrysopeia, that it is instead the artificial generation of man. Here, the creation of homunculi symbolically represents spiritual regeneration and Christian soteriology.